Welcome back to another Sunday school video. Ooh, I love today's stories. They're so cool. Today's miracles involve Jesus, a boat, and water. Okay, two different stories. They all involve Jesus, a boat, and water. So, in the first story, it says that after Jesus was done teaching to a crowd, he told the disciples, let's get in the boat and go to the other side. And so they all get in the boat and they start making their way across this huge sea. And it says that when they get about halfway across, there's the storm arrives, right? And it says that the waves are so big that they're crashing up over the side of the boat and onto the deck, right? That's scary because then it starts to feel like if the boat gets water inside of it, it's going to sink and then we're all going to drown. So the disciples are freaking out and they're like, where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? And they find him, and guess what Jesus is doing? He's taking a nap. He got all cozied up and he's taking a nap. And I'm sure the disciples were kind of frustrated. And it says that they woke him up. They're like, Jesus! And they said to him, don't you even care if we drown? That's kind of an interesting question. Don't you even care if we drown? This whole time, Jesus has been doing amazing things for them. But in this one instance, the disciples didn't trust that Jesus cared for them. Don't we do that sometimes? We go about all our lives and so many good things happen and we get to eat food every day and we have a roof over our heads and we, all these things, all these ways that we're provided for. But one hard thing happens and we say, God, don't you even care? And Jesus says, you need to trust. You need to trust me. Don't you trust me? And he gets up and do you know what? He tells the storm. Jesus is talking to the storm. He says, calm down, just calm down. And guess what happens? The waves go down, the wind goes away, right? Jesus and the disciples are amazed that Jesus can even control the weather, talk to the storm. Calm down, right? And I think that calm down, that goes for the storm and that goes for the disciples who didn't trust him. And that can go for us when we freak out when bad things happen. Now, second story. In this story, right, Jesus again is done teaching to a crowd, but this time he tells the disciples, you go on ahead of me in the boat. I'm going to stay here and pray. So the disciples go on ahead, they get in the boat, they head out to sea. And it says that Jesus goes to a quiet place so he can pray. And he's there and he's praying, and when he's done, it's almost morning, and Jesus gets to the edge of the shore and he's looking out there and he sees the boat and he's like, well, the boat's up there and I'm over here and I don't have a boat. So you know what he does? It says that he just starts walking across the water to the boat. Just starts walking right on top of the water. And it says that on the boat, the disciples look out and they're like, ah! They think it's a ghost at first, right? They're like, what the heck is happening? Who is that? And as it gets closer, they see, oh, it's Jesus. It's Jesus, right? Of course, the guy who just, told the storm to calm down, well, now he's walking on water, right? But there's one disciple, this disciple, he's like, I want to do that too. I want to be like you, Jesus. And this is Peter. And so Jesus says, come out to me. So here's what's cool. Here's what's very interesting. Peter trusts when Jesus says, come out to me, that he'll be okay. So he steps out of the boat, and for a little bit, Peter also is able to walk on the water. But then he begins to feel the wind, and he freaks out, and I imagine it like, I don't know if you've ever seen these old cartoons where like someone's chasing someone and they run too far and they run off a cliff, and for like a second they're like floating in the air, but once they look down they're like whoosh, right? That's Peter. He looks down, straight into the water, and he's like, help me, I'm drowning. And Jesus comes over and gets him and he's like, You of little faith, right? Why didn't you trust me? And he scoops them up, and it says the wind goes away, and they all get in the boat. Both of these stories have Jesus, boats, and water. But the secret thing I didn't mention that's important in both stories is trust or faith, right? That when hard things happen, when unbelievable things happen, when scary things happen, when unpredictable things happen, right? In all of those things, what can we do? We can trust God. Even when we feel like, what am I even supposed to do in this situation? I can't do anything. You know what you can do? You can trust God. And I love, that's part of why these stories are like interesting on their own, but I also love that, right? I love these stories. So I hope you liked them too. We'll be back. So we're done with miracles. Next week we have like a one-off story that's just really interesting, but it doesn't really fit into a category. And then the following week we'll start a new series about parables, about the parables that Jesus taught. So stay tuned for that. I'll talk with you soon, and I hope you're having a great week.